So, we have a few hours before the Overdress reveal stream comes out. And obviously the past weeks, everyone has had some speculation as to what might happen, this might happen, that might happen. Some people claiming that, others said that it definitely will happen, and no. We're all speculating right now, right? And so instead of speculating, right now, I wanted to go over a wish list. What are the things I really want to see? I did it as well before V came out. You know, during G, I was like, oh, I would like to see this and that and this. Of course, no one knew Reboot 1 was coming, so that was a bombshell and everyone's wish lists got blasted. So fingers crossed this time. So first of all, I want to see more orders. I feel like this mechanic has been so underutilized, it's actually mind-blowing. You know, you always had these eras, and then later on in the era, you would get some new type of mechanic that kind of fleshed it out. G was cool, you had your strides, but then after that, they introduced G Guardians, and that truly changed G. You know, G was fine with just strides, but G Guardians added so much interesting depth and playing around stuff, it was amazing. So now, in V, you know, gifts, alright, I guess they're fine, but then they added orders, and orders were interesting, you know. There were so many things they could do with that, and then they also said there would be blitz orders. Maybe we would get some of that interaction again, just like in G with G Guardians, and then they did nothing with blitz orders, you know, we just got a quick shield. I would really like to see them more play with orders. You know, sure, in Bang Dream, they did some interesting stuff, but I feel there's so much more they could absolutely do to flesh that out. Number 2. And this kind of ties into that, I want to see a new defensive mechanic. Now, this could just be blitz orders being played on, you know, but if that's not the case, I would like to see just any defensive mechanic. Even at the end of G, one of my wishes was where you could discard a draw trigger and that way access something like a G-Guard, but different. Maybe something that negates an effect, and I know people will go crazy because they're like, oh wow, no, that's Yu-Gi-Oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking like a hand trap. I mean, maybe in the battle phase, maybe once per game. Just, I was hoping for something that interacts with the opponent, stops them from maybe doing some broken or unfair thing. I just considered it with draw triggers back then because those triggers were severely underutilized because really they were just inferior to many other triggers. Now, in V, they kind of fixed that by having draw PG, so that was great. So maybe now it won't be discarding a draw trigger because that would mean we play 4 draw PGs and then even more draws to access that. Unless you want to discard PGs, but not many people want to do that. Then again, maybe that's actually an interesting, you know, consideration if your skill is big enough. But again, it could be something else entirely as well. Maybe we get heals with special effects when discarded. Maybe we get crits with special effects when discarded. Not necessarily the Sentinel crits, those were like, they were cool for deck building, but they didn't come up much. But again, it might also just be a really cool blitz order type mechanic. That would be great. Just something to tone down some of the aggressive pushes we're seeing in V right now. Even in Premium. Like both Premium and Standard have the current issue where all of the V support is so pushed in the aggressive department and so tame in the defensive department that games tend to end quickly or RNG tends to like swing games really fast. So any type of defensive mechanic, I don't even care how they do it, that would be welcome. Next up, I want to see more premium collections. Not necessarily like more per year, but just I want them to keep that going. It's interesting to see the premium collection completely change the format, even if, you know, the second one had Zazan and that sucked. But all the other cards I generally like. Sure, there's always some cards you can say, oh, but that one was broken. Oh, but that one was broken. Sure. But in general, it's really cool to spice up the format with a brand new stride, with brand new skills, brand new decks. It's just exciting. Strides are the cornerstone of Premium. And so you want those to be, you know, changing and ever impactful and so forth. As we saw, a lot of V cards got so strong that they mostly creeped out old strides. So you need new strides to keep up with that standard power creep. Now, tying into that, I would also like to see more new G Guardians. I think we all kind of assumed like, okay, first premium collection, we got those crits, fine, but this time we'll get G Guardians. And then we didn't. And while effect crits were great, like they really increased consistency, decreased bricking, it was an improvement to the game. I think G Guardians would just add more depth and player interaction. That would be really fun. So maybe this time we'll get some G Guardians together with our strides. Next up, I want to see more sets like Clan Selection. You know, we're getting these reveals and it's like, all the clans are getting something at once. Okay, it's technically 2 sets, so, but you know, all the clans will get their support in about a month or so from each other. That is great, because everyone can get hyped. Sure, some of them are tame, but everyone is at least getting cards, and that is amazing. You know, the reprints are fun, those are fine, but from a play perspective, you know, if you're a long-time player, you don't necessarily care much for reprints for clans that you already have. But if you're trying to build a new deck, that's really handy, of course. It's more so that just everyone's getting new stuff. Similar to Premium Collection, you know, and it's also similar to Fighters Collections. And Fighters Collections were some of the most exciting sets Vanguard had. And so right now, a lot of people are responding great to clan selection, because everyone's getting something. You don't have to sit through like this drag of, oh wow, now we get 40 Kagero reveals and I don't play Kagero, or now we get 40 Mega Colony reveals and I don't play Mega Colony. Guess I just have to wait. And you just have these months and months of nothing for you, and that just feels bad, you know. If you play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic, every single set, or almost every single set, will have maybe at least one card for you. Even if it's just some generic spell, or in Magic, if one of your colors or whatever is getting supported, you're always looking to those reveals and getting hyped for what may come next. That is not the case when you know, well, coming boosters have nothing for me, and so you don't really care, you kind of tune out. So by having these clan selections where you know you're getting something, that's just really cool. And that's why people are so hyped for these clan selection reveals right now, you know. Right now, I am super hyped to see what the Grand Blue card from tomorrow will do, even though, you know, the Ghosty we just saw fucking sucks. Like, unless that ties into some superior ride, I'm very sad. Regardless, it's cool to be able to look forward to something for your clan, and I think these kind of like weird sets where they support everything at once is just really cool. Why not, right? Next up, I want to see more new units. I'm fucking goddamn tired of retrains. I've been tired of retrains for the past 2 years, honestly. Like, sure, sometimes having a little bit of nostalgia is cool, but it doesn't have to be the primary motivator behind your set. You know, back in G, we would sometimes get blaster support, but it would be sprinkled into your sets. You would get a bunch of new stuff and then a little bit of blaster support, a little bit of overload support. It wouldn't be the fucking cornerstone of your game. So I'm really hoping to just see new units, new protagonists, kill Aichi. I don't even care. Give me new. And if you sometimes want to add some nostalgia pandering, that's fine. I know we will get Blaster Blade 69 at some point, but don't make it the main thing. Just, you know, do it sometimes to add some spice. It can't be the main cornerstone of your game. Next up, and this is a bit more broad, we already spoke about it, player interaction. I feel V was severely lacking in this. I think there was really barely any counterplay the past 2 to 3 years at all. I really liked G for this. Oh, so I G guard. Oh, should I not ride up? Oh, should I do this? Should I do that? I will ride up to then G guard into this so I can then do this stride. Like, you were really thinking ahead, and certain things led to other things, and that was cool. You have this in other card games all the time, and V right now is mostly like, I'll do my thing, and you better pray for a heal or a defensive, and that just feels, don't like it. So I want to see more player interaction, and of course, if we get these blitz orders, or defensive mechanic or whatever, that could help, we'll see, but I just want more moving pieces. I want more depth, and that would be cool. Finally, I want a less impactful dice roll. Now, even in Premium now again, because V has gotten so fast, going first is very strong. And while that's a thing in like a lot of card games, heck, even in fucking chess, going first is broken. You don't want that to be the overarching theme. You don't want to have that feels bad moment of, oh, I went second, wow, guess I have a 30% win rate from the get-go. That feels bad. Right now you play against Gabriel, oh, Hamiel instantly OTKs me, too bad, better luck next time. That doesn't feel great. So maybe some way to make going second stronger. You know, Vanguard Insider already spoke of make it so gifts don't activate going first. Alright, that's an option, or maybe they do something else, right? It could be anything. But just having some way to make going second stronger, but not much stronger than first, of course. I've seen some people say like, oh, but in G going second was broken. No, dick face, you could Grade 2 game. There are plenty of things you could do. So, you know, more something like G. Honestly, bring back Grade 2 gaming for all I care. We have plenty of cards now that can absolutely Grade 2 game properly and make that interesting regardless. But just something, not dice rolling. So that was my little wish list. I hope it wasn't too long. I hope it wasn't too short. Obviously, like, I could keep on going on and on. Like, there's Grand Blue units I want. Give me a Ghosty that revives something else on like auto on placing, and then I can use like Lily to revive that, to bring back Cannoneer. Like, there's so many specific cards I want, but I hope I gave like the cool overarching concepts. That is all. Like, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.